So as a guy in his mid-20s, I was living my life and living it pretty well. I had a successful career, I was traveling all over the world, I was a social butterfly, I had great family, good social circle, pretty much everything that a guy in his 20s would dream of. And then 24 hours later on 30th May, I had a fall in an under construction building, and suddenly life changed for me where I became a wheelchair user. I had a spinal cord injury which led to a paralysis waist down, and due to which I became a wheelchair user in a country which was completely inaccessible. People started pitying me, friends started stopped speaking to me, and a lot of people thought that death would be a better option than to go through a life like this, because it was a life of rejection, dejection, depression. But yes, I thought I'll fight it out and I will make lemonade from lemons, and here we are with RampMyCity.
Hello and welcome to the India Autism Center podcast. We are at the Purple Fest, Goa, and we have with us somebody here who's actually making India accessible one restaurant at a time or one market at a time. He's done some work in Goa as well. We have Prateek Khandewal, founder of RampMyCity. Prateek, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Nipun, for having me.
Prateek, you've done a lot of work on disability, but you were not born with a disability in life. Could you tell us a bit about your life and how did you really become a person with a disability?
Yeah, sure. So it goes back to 29th May 2014. So as a guy in his mid-20s, I was living my life and living it pretty well. I had a successful career, I was traveling all over the world, I was a social butterfly, I had great family, good social circle, pretty much everything that a guy in his 20s would dream of. And then 24 hours later on 30th May, I had a fall in an under construction building, and suddenly life changed for me where I became a wheelchair user. I had a spinal cord injury which led to a paralysis waist down, and due to which I became a wheelchair user in a country which was completely inaccessible. People started pitying me, friends started stopped speaking to me, and a lot of people thought that death would be a better option than to go through a life like this, because it was a life of rejection, dejection, depression. But yes, I thought I'll fight it out and I will make lemonade from lemons, and here we are with RampMyCity.
But what motivated you to get out of that situation? A lot of people fall into a big hole or a depression when something like this happens. And you said that that happened to you as well, but you've come out of it clearly. So what pushed you out of it?
So Nipun, I have been inherently blessed with a very a positive soul. So whenever I hit rock bottom in life, I always believe that this is not the end of things and there's something better in store for me. And I think that inner belief that I have been blessed with, I think that was the only person. So if there's anybody who has pushed myself out of it, is me only, because I started looking at things I started looking adversity as an opportunity. I started generating motivation, started doing things which could pull me out from depression, and keeping short-term goals and doing a lot of things. It has been a pretty heavy journey, a pretty long journey, but yes, the main thing is that it was me generating motivation rather than seeking outside, generating through the work I do, through my daily lifestyle, through whatever I do, generating motivation from it and then moving ahead in life.
And you started RampMyCity immediately after that, or what was the journey?
No, it was quite a journey. The accident happened in 2014, and then for 4 years, I was doing rigorous physiotherapy. I had the dream of leaving the wheelchair and wanting to get back on my feet and walking again, and all my hours and energy and attention was diverted towards it. In 4 years, I did make considerable recovery. I was able to recover, not if fully, but partially also, from some of the ailments that spinal cord injury gets with it. I was able to recover some part of it partially, and I was able to lead a better quality of life. But yes, and I was able to walk also, but with the help of a walker or a crutch, but like as a part of an exercise rather than in your normal life. So I realized by 2018, 4 years into my injury, I realized that yes, walking is going to be a long-term goal. But why should I stop living my life? So I said, whether it be a wheelchair, as a wheelchair user only, but I want to go out and live my life. And as a wheelchair user, when I started to go out and just do those everyday things that I used to do earlier, previously before my injury, I realized I could not do it because of the huge problem of inaccessibility in India. And that is actually what triggered me into being a part of the solution and finding RampMyCity, which can actually do interventions to make our cities more accessible.
What does RampMyCity do?
So RampMyCity provides simple infrastructure solutions and adequate human training at places of public usage to make them accessible for person with disabilities and elderly population. We basically have three pillars that we work at. One is giving hardcore infrastructure solutions. So that means if in retrofitting you need a ramp, you need a toilet, you need tactiles, you need swing, you need furniture, signages, or any solution that makes a place more accessible. We provide that as a hardcore solution. Secondly, we also provide end-to-end consultancy. So that means if a building needs accessibility audits, if you need retrofitting design solutions, if you need for an upcoming construction, if you need design appraisals, if you need implementation support. So we provide end-to-end consultancy in making your building completely barrier-free. And the third pillar that we work on is training and sensitization. So now moving away from the regular training methods where there's a coach or a trainer and an audience, we try to make people more aware about disability and about challenges in built environment by doing exercises like in your shoes, where we make people sit on. You have done a video like that where you give a lived experience to people, where you make them sit on wheelchairs and give them a round of a built environment and tell them the challenges that they as a wheelchair user might face. So yeah, training and sensitization is another part of it. Soft skills also include, and normalizing conversations, and all those form the training part of it. So those are the three pillars that RampMyCity works at.
Right. No, and you're doing excellent work. I think everybody knows about it. You're quite a star on social media as well. Uh,
A star on social media, it's just that it's a trend that you have to make your whatever you're doing relevant on social media, because it just gives you that much more advantage. It gets more stakeholders on board, it gets more corporates on board when you have that movement or that vibe about the content that you're putting on social media, where it is no longer seen as charitable but more popular cause. And that's what we've tried to do with RampMyCity. Whatever we do, we put it out like a very popular thing and a very in thing to do. Accessibility is a very in thing, a very niche thing, and everybody should be a part of it. That's how we build our social media.
no, wonderful. And I think your tone on social media is not charitable at all. So kudos to you on that.
Yeah.
But since you're interacting with a lot of corporates, are corporates working on accessibility only because it's the right and charitable thing to do, or is it just because the law says it, or because they actually see a business case to make the places accessible to persons with disabilities?
So as far as business case is concerned, it's still a sorry state when we talk to corporates about making their own buildings accessible. We see that a lot of corporates don't have budgets for it still, and still there's a fight to get those access audits and retrofitting solutions to go in, because corporates always say, "Hamara to facility department kar raha hai and we are taking care of it." They are not going for third party advisors, and also somewhere the government is not enforcing it like how they enforce fire compliance. They're not enforcing accessibility, and that's why corporates are able to get away with it, and so it's not still a business case for them as far as infrastructure goes. But how we are able to engage with corporates is through their CSR budgets, where we rope in corporates to sponsor our projects where we can go and make public places accessible. We also rope in corporates from a branding and marketing purpose, because these corporates have huge branding and marketing budgets, and we try to tap into them saying that why don't you make X number of places accessible and we'll have your logo on it. So corporates love this visibility where they will have logo on 10, 20, 30, 50 locations across the city. It's like a billboard for them where they're getting publicity also, and it's a social cause also. So those are the ways we are engaging with corporates.
There might be some corporates that are watching this episode. So what is the business case for a corporate to fund you for that kind of project? Can you give an example of some corporate that has done that and gained some marketing mileage out of it?
Yeah, sure. There are a lot of corporates, like when we in my first client, in fact, in 2022, my first client was Oyo. And Oyo came and told us that we want you to make Gurgaon more accessible. At the same time, they wanted something that will give them visibility also. And that is when we did the DLF Galleria Mall in Gurgaon, which is a very famous marketplace, especially famous for its chaat pakodi and everything. So we made that place accessible, putting 25 ramps there, ice cream shops, shops, Airtel stores, electronics, ATMs, everything in that market area is now accessible, making it one of the most wheelchair accessible market. Then with corporate, we also did. Recently, we are doing with Hyundai. We are doing a project under Samarth. You are also a part of it under Samarth. We are doing where they want to concentrate on cities like Delhi, Bangalore and Mumbai. We are making schools and healthcare centers and markets and police stations under the Samarth banner, where also branding is a big part of it. We are doing those kind of projects with Samarth. We are also looking at possibilities in Delhi, where a Khan market of Delhi or a Connaught Place of Delhi or a GK market in Delhi, where we can lift up these markets, make them accessible, and of course, I think these are the ways where corporates really like to come in and pitch in, and because their social image also improves, their CSR and branding and marketing budgets also gets used, and the society at large also gets benefited. So those are the ways, some of the ways we are engaging with corporates.
What is the cost of making a restaurant accessible? If a restaurant owner say comes to you, कितना खर्चा होएगा एक रेस्टोरेंट को एक्सेसिबल बनाने में?
हाँ, ये बहुत कॉमन क्वेश्चन है निपुण की कितना खर्चा होने वाला है. एक्चुअली RampMyCity के सारे रैम कस्टमाइज्ड होते हैं, क्योंकि एक लॉ है कि 1:12 रैम का ग्रेडियंट होना चाहिए, बट ऑफ कोर्स बिल्ट एनवायरनमेंट में उतना जगह वी डोंट गेट दैट काइंड ऑफ स्पेस टू हैव 1:12. So usually it will go somewhere between 1:8 to 1:10 is usually what we have seen in worse scenarios, where a threshold RAM it will go to 1:6. So the starting range of RAM starts from around 10,000 rupees, and then upwards and onwards, when you install railings to it, when you all of these are fabricated and metal, made of metal. So as you make bigger RAM, more fixed RAMs with the railings and a stronger material with more load bearing, the cost grows high, going up to ranges of 2 lakh and to 2.5 lakh also. So yeah, that's the range. It's a huge range, 10,000 to 2.
But accessibility is not just about ramps, right? It's much more, and it covers a wide variety of disabilities.
Absolutely. So we started with ramps because that was the simplest thing that we thought we can do, and it will gain us visibility. And we started with the restaurant sector. But while doing ramps, we realized that accessibility is so much more about the other things also, and that is where we started putting in more solutions where I just spoke about that we are doing now toilets, we are doing swings, we are doing furniture, we are doing textiles. So all these solutions now RampMyCity is giving, so to make sure that building is not only about ramps but other solutions also.
अच्छा, so you're doing everything beyond ramps. That
yeah, totally. So I know RampMyCity से सब लोग रैम्प ही बोलते हैं, and सब लोग मेरे को यही बोलते हैं रैम्प्स कर रहा है.
ये है कि आप रैम्प्स करते हो.
हाँ, ये गलत परसेप्शन है, लेकिन इट्स ओके. हमने एक मार्केट में नाम पाया है फॉर द रैम्प्स, बट नाउ वी हैव मूव्ड ऑन टू अदर सॉल्यूशंस आल्सो, एंड वी आर डूइंग एंड टू एंड सॉल्यूशंस अभी. So RampMyCity, how I as a founder say it is ramp. Don't associate a ramp with RampMyCity. When you say RampMyCity is also, so what is ramping does? It moves you from one level to the other. Right, that is what a ramp does, right? Level difference cover हो जाता है. So RampMyCity is you're lifting the status of a city and you're making it more accessible, you're making it more urban, you're making it more inclusive. So you're lifting the status of a city. So RampMyCity is actually it means that you lift the status of a city to make it inclusive for all.
Do you think the government is doing enough to encourage accessibility in this country?
Government has to be government has to put in more. Right now, how we are dealing with the government is as purely on basis of permission provider. So we work on a public-private partnership model, PPP. So that means that we'll go to the government and say, hey government, we want to make X places which are government properties accessible. Please come on board and give us permissions to do it. We will not charge you money because it is going to be funded or sponsored through some CSR or marketing and branding budgets of some corporates. So the government is happy because they don't have to go through all the tender processes and all the lengthy processes to get in the money. So government happily comes on board. I mean, they welcome this move. We are in 5 states, so all the states have welcomed this move, where government becomes a partner where as far as the permissions are concerned. And then we get a corporate on board saying we have the permission, so why don't you fund these properties for us? And then the corporate comes on
Because
board.
in a way, you and the corporate are actually doing the government's job by making the city accessible.
Sorry?
Because in a way, you and the corporate are actually doing the government's job to make the city
Yes.
accessible.
See, exactly, Nipun, it's like chicken and egg. कि अब करेगा कौन इसको? गवर्नमेंट करेगी, कॉर्पोरेट करेगा. सो आई एम जस्ट थिंकिंग वी हैव अ स्मॉल लाइफ. तो अगर सोचते रहेंगे गवर्नमेंट करेगी एंड एडवोकेसी करते रहेंगे, गवर्नमेंट को करना, इट इज गवर्नमेंट्स वर्क, बट गवर्नमेंट नहीं कर रही है, तो क्या हम बैठे रहें?
बिल्कुल नहीं. I completely agree with you.
So
Yeah.
कुछ ना कुछ करके, anyways, people are too busy, and sorry to say this, people are too busy planting trees and assembling wheelchairs, and we are saying let's put that money in improving the accessibility in our cities. So we are using the same channels but to do something for accessibility, and yeah, that's what we are doing.
No, nothing against planting trees, but I think putting ramps is also as important. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
So where do you see RampMyCity in the future? I mean, you're obviously doing all this great work. What is your vision for RampMyCity?
एक शेर याद आ रहा है, वेयर आई सी राम सिटीज, कि उन्हें गुमा था कि हमारी उड़ान में कहाँ दम है. उन्हें था गुमान कि हमारी उड़ान में कहाँ दम है, और हमें था यकीन कि आगे आसमान भी कुछ कम है, आगे आसमान भी कुछ कम है. So it's limitless in what India can do. It's a $1 trillion economy. It's a developing country. It's at the heart of, it's booming right now, India. It's the most watched country in the world, and Mr. Modi has given us the vision of 2047 where he wants to make it developed. No country is called developed till the time it's accessible, as you know it. So I think accessibility is going to be at the core of this growth of India, and while this is happening, we want to make sure that RampMyCity is an important partner in transforming India into a more accessible nation.
And do you think situation has improved from what you were doing 5 years back to now?
Yeah,
not just through RampMyCity, but in disability in general in India.
It has improved, and a lot of advocacy is now going in, and a lot of states is now pitching in as far as inclusion is concerned, and we are seeing a lot more awareness around accessibility, a lot more mindfulness. We are seeing people not seek. I mean, if not even 100%, but partially, it is not being seen as a charitable cause anymore. But people are looking for professional solutions to be more accessible. But yes, it's a long path. We have just begun this journey, and there's a long way to go. And I hope people will be open to more conversation and to be a part of the solution rather than sticking on the problem side.
No, absolutely. And I think we all have to work together to find solutions rather than just complaining about problems.
Yes.
In that sense.
Yes. So that's how we have built RampMyCity also, that be a part of the solution. And there's a poem that I always tell my team, and which says कि लहरों से डर के नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. नन्ही चींटी जब दाना लेकर चढ़ती है, चढ़ती दीवारों पर 100 बार फिसलती है. मन का विश्वास रगों में साहस भरता है, चढ़ के गिरना गिर के चढ़ना ना करता है. मेहनत उसकी हर बार बेकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. So that's what I say. It's a long road, but till the time we are trying, and we are trying to our best, we will come out as winners.
You speak well. You know such good share. कभी राजनीति में घुसने का सोचा है?
अभी तक मैंने नहीं सोचा, पर पॉलिटिशियन से इन्वॉल्व होने का जरूर सोचा है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पॉलिटिशियन का अटेंशन लेके कैसे और हम और उनको ऑन बोर्ड ला सके फॉर आवर कोलैबोरेशन, एंड टू गेट परमिशन फ्रॉम वेयरएवर यू वांट टू वर्क.
And are politicians normally open to this idea? Do they look at disability as an important vote bank?
In fact, I want to name a politician, and he is a member of parliament for Bengaluru South, MP Tejasvi Surya. He has been tremendous in his support. And when we ramped up Church Street, which became a signature product of RampMyCity, his office called me in Bangalore saying that we want to make our constituency accessible, and please tell us how to go about it. And not only did he take those initiatives to make public places in his constituency accessible, he also provided the fund for it. And that was very remarkable.
And that's very rare.
Yeah, rare and remarkable that he did that. He arranged for funds from his MP Lads funds and got some corporates also going. And he has done a lot of work in Bangalore South. So I hats off to him, and I really treasure the partnership that we have with Tejasvi Surya. And I hope that with different organization, authorities, and MPs and MLAs and government across the country, we will be able to foster similar partnerships.
Oh, that's wonderful indeed. I've taken a lot of time. I know it's late in the evening and you have a bunch of other stuff as well. But one question that I've been asking everybody on this podcast, is that if there's any common citizen in this country who's watching this, because we often talk about large corporates, we talk about the government, etc. What can a common citizen do to make India a more inclusive country towards persons with disabilities?
I think what I would say is that as far as a common citizen goes, I would request them to actually, if you want to make this country more inclusive, be more inclusive in the attitude you have towards person with disabilities. And when I say be more inclusive, that what I mean to say is that when you meet a person with disability outside, don't treat them as objects of inspiration. I mean, I get so many more power to you that Hulk has started to have an inferiority complex. Really. And so my appeal to a common citizen is that the next time you meet a person with a disability, have a normal conversation with them. And how it starts with it is just by asking simple questions. तो अगली बार जब आप किसी person with disability से मिलें, तो उनसे पूछें, मौसम का मिजाज पूछें, खाने में क्या पसंद है पूछें, चाय पीते हैं या कॉफी पूछें, उनकी हॉबीज क्या है पूछें, हाल दिल पूछिए, हमारे भी ब्रेकअप पैचअप होते हैं, देश का हाल पूछिए, मोदी, ट्रंप, इंडिया, पाकिस्तान, चाइना, यूएस की बात पूछिए, ग्लोबल वार्मिंग की बात पूछिए, स्टेट ऑफ इकोनॉमी की बात पूछिए, पोल्यूशन, पॉपुलेशन, वाइल्ड लाइफ की बात पूछिए, और हाँ, जाते जाते ये जरूर पूछिए कि अगली बार वो आपसे कब मिलेंगे, क्योंकि यही सारी बातें तो हम किसी आम इंसान से करते हैं, करेक्ट? एंड हम भी तो वही हैं, एक आम इंसान. सो बॉडी में डिसेबिलिटी होना एक अलग बात है. But if a human being doesn't see another human being as a human being, isn't that the biggest disability? And I hope the answer would reflect in the action of the common citizen.
Wow, that's beautiful, Prateek.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the India Autism Center podcast.
Thank you, Nipun, for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.